The process of creating or changing different kinds of standards. Determine the need. During this first step, it is important for stakeholders to determine what exactly they require for new standards or modifications to current standards. And board engagement. Professionals in this related field develop a board that will be responsible for developing and examining standards. The board will lead the initial investigation and outline for a new or modified standard. Achieving consensus. This technological board works together to create the standard, searching for consensus between members. This will include discussions, modifications, and alliances with the organization's common practices. Public examination. The outline that has been established experiences public examination. This can include opinions from stakeholders, business experts, and other stakeholders that want to help to improve the standard. Approval. After tracking the feedback, the standards are authorized by the proper jurisdiction or organization. The approval step allows for the standard to abide by the required safety and quality. Publication. After the standard has been accepted, the standard should be formally published and should be attainable by the public. What is the National Institute of Standards and Technology? Cybersecurity Framework. The NIST Cybersecurity Framework is defined as a set of recommendations developed to reduce or alleviate possible organization cybersecurity risks. The 5 core functions of the NIST Cybersecurity Framework. Number 1 is to identify. Number 2 is to protect. Number 3 is to detect. Number 4 is to respond. And number 5 is to recover. Methodologies to establish a cybersecurity program. Step 1, identify and classify sensitive data. Begin by identifying the types of data the organization will handle. Classify it based on the sensitivity, so personal information, financial data, intellectual property. Number 2, locate data storage points. It's important that the cybersecurity program understands where the sensitive data resides, whether that's on a server, a cloud, or employee devices. It is important to create a record or inventory of all the data storage locations. Next, you want to maintain hardware and software. Keep track of all hardware, computers, and softwares in your environment, and you should be regularly updating them and patching them. Implementing employee training. Educating employees about cybersecurity best practices is something essential and crucial in the Augusta Medical. It's important to talk about things like passwords and how to make them strong, phishing awareness, and the safe browsing habits. Next is enforce multi-factor authentication. Require MFA for accessing critical systems. This offers a layer of security aside from passwords. Engage in trusted partners. So it's important to collaborate with the cybersecurity vendors, consultants, and industry peers. You want to stay informed about upcoming threats and the best practices. And lastly, you should follow the NIST 7-step process, which is to prioritize and scope, 2, orient, 3, create current profile, 4, conduct a risk assessment, 5, create a target profile, 6, determine, analyze, and prioritize gaps, and 7, implement an action plan. Implementation Tier 1, partial. The organization is aware of the NIST, CSF, and could have implemented some ideas of control within the infrastructure. Implementation of the activities and formalities have been responsive rather than premeditated. The organization has inadequate awareness surrounding the cybersecurity risks and is deficient in the methods and assets to allow information security. Tier 2, risk informed. The organization is adequate surrounding the cybersecurity risks and presents information on casual grounds. It is deficient in intended, replicable, and active company-wide cybersecurity risk management procedures. Tier 3, repeatable. The organization and senior management are conscious of the cybersecurity risks. The organization and senior management have applied a repeatable company-wide cybersecurity risk management scheme. The cybersecurity team has developed a strategy to supervise and effectively address cyber attacks. Tier 4, adaptive. The organization has now become cyber strong and applies education and prognostic signs to impede cyber attacks. There are many enhancements to the organization's cybersecurity technologies and are flexible when it comes to threats and will handle them adequately. Organization security policy consists of acceptable use policy, onboarding and offboarding, social media policy inside and outside of work, insider threats, mobile devices, and common standards. Risk assessment. The risk assessment is a record of critical systems and the influence they may have on an organization's systems and network. Examine the risks and determine some mitigation methods. Business impact analysis. Investigate, recognize threats, risks, and vulnerabilities founded on probability, and business influence. Business continuity plan. Determine compliance gaps, determine what controls are needed to authorize continual business function, develop methods, and determine collaborators for the application of a contingency plan. The comparison of standards. Laws. Laws are developed by regulators and are rules of conduct that are established by those with authority. Often, if the laws are not followed or enforced, then there is a chance of monetary penalties and sanctions. Some laws include the following: FESMA or PCI DSS. Regulations are rules that were created by an authority to manage how something should be completed and how someone should behave. Regulations operate as methods that restrict and control behavior. Some regulations include the following: HIPAA and GDPR. Policies are defined as a set of rules that direct an organization's conduct, and they also play a pivotal role in improving culture. Some policies include onboarding and offboarding. Voluntary standards are defined as elective policies and procedures that are developed by organizations although there is no legal obligation. Some examples include the NIST CSF and ISO IEO 27001. Frameworks are defined as a basis for creating software applications. Frameworks offer a structured foundation that permits builders to make additions to the current elements instead of starting from square one. Some examples include the NIST and the ISO IEX 27001 and 27002. Incident response. The purpose of an incident response in Augustus Medical is for the emergency management, patient safety, care continuity, mitigating potential incidents, and HIPAA compliance. Incident management consists of these four things: 1, incident reporting; 2, corrective action; 3, investigation and analysis; and 4, incident closure. Executive summary. Collect appropriate data. Start by collecting essential information about the hospital, including its background, services, and financial performance. Next, you want to determine main highlights. So you're going to review the data and identify significant achievements, milestones, and unique features of the hospital. Next, you want to summarize your main findings, and that consists of condensing the information into a few key points. Highlight patient satisfaction levels, treatment costs, and the range of services offered. Next is viewing data. Use charts or graphs to present data visually, for instance, a pie chart. Lastly is reviewing and improving. Ensure clarity, conciseness, and alignment with the hospital's visions and goals.